Hoggie's beer reviews. Hoggie's beer reviews. What's going on, guys? We're back. Hoggie's beer reviews. We're in the kitchen because this time I am doing a beer review in the kitchen, but I'm also doing some food shit, so that's going to be cool. Stay tuned for that. Actually, I have a funny story to tell too. But before we get to that, we get to the beer. And I've gotten a lot of requests, not just for this beer in particular, but for any Mexican beer. I forgot who it was. I think a couple of people said, Hoggie, do a Mexican beer. So here you go, guys. Modelo Especial. Cerveza Modelo Especial, brewed in Mexico. Premium flavor and quality since 1925. Modelo Especial, a long-lasting tradition. So it says. I've had this beer before, but not in a long time. It's not something I've ever regularly drank. I think the last time I had a Modelo was washing down some late night Mexican food, I don't know, a year and a half ago, something like that. And so yeah, Modelo Especial comes in the clear bottles. You know we avoid the clear bottles. But here's the thing, there's Modelo Especial, and then there's also Negra Modelo, a beer a lot of people, especially those who like Mexican food, are going to be familiar with. So you have the two Modelo beers. And it turns out that the company brewer that owns and makes these beers is Grupo Modelo. Grupo Modelo actually owns the Modelo beers, Pacifico, and Corona. They're a big badass company in Mexico. They also brew a handful of other beers which are not exported to the United States. Grupo Modelo also owns the importing and distribution rights for all of Anheuser-Busch's products. So they are a big badass company. And of course, like any big badass company anywhere in the region, InBev, Anheuser-Busch, has their hand in that. InBev, Anheuser-Busch actually owns a 50% stake in Grupo Modelo, and I recently read that they were looking into acquiring the other 50%. So Corona may just be Budweiser someday in the very near future. But I won't get into that. Today we're just going to drink some Cerveza Modelo Especial. And we're going to use it to wash down some Jamaican patties. Now, I wanted to do Tecate. I really did. I had my reasons, but I wanted to review Tecate because they've become a bigger player over the years. They've really been advertising heavily. Another Mexican beer. I wanted to do that one, but I couldn't find the 24-ounce can. Had to settle for Modelo Especial, but it works. So before we go there, punch up Beer Advocate, like I always do, just to give you an idea what the people on Beer Advocate say. Out of 404 user reviews, it gets a C overall. The bros, the guys who run Beer Advocate, give it a B-. It's categorized as an American adjunct lager. You know, it's a lager that has corn or rice or some other unnecessary shit in there to kind of water it down and cut the flavor and save them some money. It's 4.4% alcohol by volume, and of course it's Grupo Modelo, Mexico. So that's that. Again, C overall, B- from those guys. You know, that's not a horrible rating for an adjunct lager. Although, that's why I got the big old can, man. You know, they sell these at gas stations. This is some I'm thirsty, I need to chug down a beer kind of beer. So, I'm not going to go the whole glass route. What I am going to do is this. Let's see, where's my little... I'm going to use this little glass here just to kind of open it up. See how it looks and smells. I'll worry about the Jamaican patties later. It's my little Tequesta Brewing Company glass. My buddy Howard hooked me up with this recently. I've never had one of Tequesta's beers. They are in Tequesta, Florida. But I think it's a good shape for what I'm trying to do here. So, get right to it. I don't even want to fill the glass. I just want to be able to see what this thing looks like. And there you go. Take a look at that. It's actually not as light as I expected it to be. You know, you expect these adjunct lagers to be a lighter color. This is a light golden. And it doesn't have a lot of active carbonation. Again, in a beer like this, you kind of expect a lot of carbonation. And the heads pop fizzy, but it's not Coca-Cola pop fizzy like you find in like Budweisers and stuff like that. So I mean, it actually looks, for what it is, man, that actually looks pretty good. Nothing too offensive in the smell. There's a bit of that veggie, cooked corn veggie smell that you get because the adjunct that they use for these beers is almost surely corn. You know, when they add corn to the beer, it does give it kind of that corn vegetable kind of smell, which is, depending on the beer, can be a bit unpleasant sometimes. A little bit of lager yeast. There's a hint of sweetness from the malt. But I mean, it doesn't smell like strong or bad in any way, but it does have that adjunct smell, which I'm not a fan of, but oh well. It's crisp, but not like overly crisp. You know, usually you get like a lot of carbonation biting you up front. And this one is relatively smooth. The body in the middle of this beer is nice and smooth. I've had worse beers than this, man. This is actually not bad. Again, I've never like sat and analyzed this beer before. So doing that, you know what, I gotta say I like it. It's not horrible. For an adjunct lager, for a beer that has unnecessary fucking ingredients in there, I'll give it a strong glass half full. As far as my rating scale, you know, that's within the category. Overall, it's crap when you compare it to like beers with quality ingredients, but for what it is, it's one of the better ones out there. It's one of the better gas station beers out there. So, with that said, I'm hungry. I'm doing this review today. This wasn't planned, but my girl left for work this morning and she calls me half an hour later, says I got a flat tire. So I get dressed, I gotta go get her, I gotta change the tire, and it was a front tire, so I had to change the back tire, put it to the front. I don't want her riding around with a donut on the front tire on a front wheel drive car. Never a good idea. So I came back here and I said, you know what, as soon as I finish doing some things that I gotta do, I'm drinking me a beer because it's been a long, tiring morning and I haven't eaten anything. It's 12:30 in the afternoon. And time for a Jamaican patty. I fucking love these things, man. I got one hot and one mild. I think this is the mild. And since we're drinking a Mexican beer, Mexican hot sauce, Valentina, extra hot. I love this shit. Never put it on a Jamaican patty before. Gotta see how that works. Bear with me, this is an experiment. Alright. Interesting combination of flavors. Out of the can, the beer has a little more crispness, a little more bite, and it's a little more refreshing. So I wanted to do that. Yeah, this ain't the kind of beer you pour in a glass. Drink the shit out the can, this is gonna go real good, washing down the rest of my patties. Hoggie's beer reviews. Doesn't get any better than that, does it? Take care, guys.